I gotta take that tapping out. Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Jacob Harris, and today on the Jacob Harris Show, or just in general, today for the video that I wanted to do, I wanted to actually read some of Mao Tse Tung's poetry. Okay, Mao Tse Tung, the dictator, authoritarian, killer. I think the problem that we face as Americans is that we get kind of too caught up in what we're told to believe about people. Like, we have really no idea as to their humanity. And this kind of comes out of the racist tradition and the oligarchic, let's say, the the planter class tradition in America. Um, and so, we can't deal with people as human beings, and in terms of what has happened to them, what they do. We kind of deal with them on the basis of the categories we put them in, and so we never really get to understand them. And so, yeah. So, that being said, the reason why I think, or at least looking at Mao's poetry, is because the Saturday Free School in Philadelphia, we did a celebration of the Communist Party of China's 100th anniversary in 2021. And it was a thing where, like, there were different books. There was that we had read, and there were different presentations on. But there was the Red Star of China, Edward. I guess I should hold on. Let me Google Edward. I don't want to say Snowden because I know that's not right. Edward something. Red Star over China. Edgar Snow. I had no idea that was the name. Edgar Snow. And there was a book that I am blanking on, and one of the other books was The Long March, and that was by Harrison Salisbury. Untold Story. Now, I read The Long March, actually, as described, by my sister. She had read it, and I think somebody was doing a presentation on it, and I was just so moved by the depth of the struggle. What they had to survive, what they had to overcome to make it to Yan'an, because they were retreating from the Kuomintang, basically the force for imperialism, or the force for oppression in that country. The ruling class doesn't they don't rule you anymore. They teach you to rule how they live. They show how they live. They teach you to rule yourself as according to their principles, as according to the way they want you to live, as opposed to how you can live and should live, from on your own basis. And so the red. So I think that about the I think that the Long March, the Untold Story by Harrison Salisbury, I think it's an important work because of how it displays this heroic struggle, and how it is almost like you can liken it to the Greek mythology. And I think as history begins to absolve China, I think that we'll see that history, or that the we'll see that this struggle, the Chinese struggle, and the revolutionary struggles, from the American Revolution to the Civil War to the Russian Revolution to the Chinese, the Cuban, we'll see that the Indian independence struggle, these revolutions, and we'll see that these revolutions are on par with the great Greek mythology, the great folklore and legends and mythologies of the ancient peoples, the original people, some say, of the world. And so, yeah, I just wanted to read a couple of his poems because I'm struck by them. I'm struck by them because I think it's like, you get a sense of, what it was that he was seeing, what it was that he was experiencing. Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong. That's how the guy, the British guy, says it. I forgot his name. Maybe I'll annotate it, but let me see if I can find it real quick. This book is around here somewhere. This is what happens. You get reorganized, and then the reorganization gets away from you. Found it. So I'm just gonna read the first three poems out of the poems of Mao Zedong book, Mao Tse Tung book. I don't know, something like that. But I'll actually read the flaps of this, or the front flap. But it says that Mao Tse Tung was born in Henan, in Henan province, in 1893, the son of an impoverished and temperamental peasant. 56 years later, in October of 1949, he proclaimed from a balcony of the gate of the gate of heavenly peace in Peking, the founding of the People's Republic of China. Mao is an enigmatic figure to the West, a peasant revolutionary who united a quarter of mankind. That he is also a poet of extraordinary grace and eloquent simplicity is totally unexpected. I don't know what's so unexpected about it, but the poems of this collection from the 1963 Peking edition are not the product of an elder statesman's leisure. As Willis Barnstone writes in his introduction, Mao has written poems obsessively during years of wandering and living in caves, writing all night, evening after evening, and then throwing away his, quote, scribbles, end quote. The poems themselves, conservative in terms of Chinese versification, are expressions of the decades of struggle, of the terrible loss of his first wife, of the hope for a new China, the organization of the Red Army, the 6,000-mile long march, the ultimate victory over the nationalist forces. Aside from their obvious political interests, Mao's poems are simply very beautiful in their own right. Willis Barnstone, the translator, has supplied a great deal besides a good translation. His introduction, notes, short biography of Mao, and history of the revolution, and notes on Chinese versification all combine to enrich the Western reader's understanding of Mao's poetry. Poems. Barnstone's own book of poems from this white island was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. His poems received, and this is about Barnstone. Okay, Barnstone was a great translator. Period. So, the poems of Mao Zedong, and these are going to be I'm just going to read the first three, and we have an introduction, and you can kind of go through it, but I would like to just jump. I guess I just want to jump straight into the poems, and I want y'all. I guess let me know what y'all think. I guess I can also say what I think as well. But I want to read it first, and then get your opinions first. Get what your thoughts are. This first poem is called Changsha. I stand alone in cold autumn. The river he sang, goes north around the promontory of Orange Island. I see the thousand mountains gone red, and rows of stained forests. The great river is glassy jade, swarming with 100 boats. Eagles flash over clouds, and fish float near the clear bottom. In the freezing air, a million creatures compete for freedom. In this immensity, I ask the huge green blue earth, who is the master of nature? I came here with many friends and remember those fabled months and years of study. We were young, sharp as flower wind, ripe, candid, with a scholar's bright blade, and unafraid. We pointed our finger at China and praised or damned through the papers we wrote. The warlords of the past were cow dung. Do you remember how, in the middle of the river, we hit the water, splashed, and how our waves slowed down the swift junks? 1925. The next poem in the book is called Tower of the Yellow Crane. China is vague and immense, where the 9 rivers pour. The horizon is a deep line, threading north and south. Blue haze and rain, hills like a snake or tortoise guard the river. The yellow crane is gone. Where? Now, this tower and region are for the wanderer. I drink wine to the bubbling water. The heroes are gone. Like a tidal wave, a wonder rises in my heart. Spring, 1927. This third one is called Ching Kang Mountain. Low on the mountain are flags and banners, and on the peak an echo of bugles and drums. Around us 1,000 circles of our enemy armies. Yet we are rock. No one cracks through our forest of walls, through our forest of wills joined as one. From the front lines at Hyang the big guns roar, saying the enemy army fled in the night. Fall, 1928. Please let me know what y'all think, okay? I am touched. The picture that I used was of a young Mao, a young man,